Welcome back to, well, it's not the Beans Does Stuff podcast anymore. It is now called Tall Boy Radio. So what do we think of that name, guys?
Nice, catchy, punchy. Describes you. Pretty cool.
yeah. Not fooling anyone, dude. I like because it doesn't really mean anything. So with Beans Does Stuff, I felt, as I said in a brief update that I've done as a podcast today, I felt it a little bit constrictive in terms of how it meant I was going to do stuff. I'm happier just sitting and drinking beer and talking to you guys. And I think that episode that we did on the NFL, I think that worked a little bit better than the other ones that I've done. I don't know what you think about it. So I've updated all the social media today. I've updated Anchor, so that can take up to 24 hours to filter down into Apple, Google, Pocket Casts, and all the different other places where people listen to the podcast. But on the day that I chose to do it, Anchor had an outage, so I don't even know how long it's going to take. I've had to go back in and redo some of the stuff. But all the social media is updated anyway. And annoyingly, when I checked, a week ago, Tall Boy Radio was free on Instagram. It isn't now, so we are at Tall Boy Radio podcast on there. So that's a bit annoying, but I can live with it. And also changing everything up. So as well as changing the name and the artwork, we're changing the music as well. So the music you will have heard at the start of this is by a chap by the name of Oscar Alberts Rodriguez, who's kindly given us permission to use the music on the podcast. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It just changes it up a bit. As much as we love the music that Lewis had done for it, and we'll still use that to close out with. I think that gives it a new level. So, as we said, adding new co-host Gaz will join us as often as he can. But as I said in the update, he's a keen golfer. And should have been playing golf today, but waving metal things around in a thunderstorm seems like a bad idea.
Not the best idea.
No. So if you want to, again, just say hello and tell us what beer you're drinking.
Hi guys, it's Gaz. I'm actually just drinking a pretty boring Carling, but what I have done, if you can just hold it up, I'm actually drinking out of a genuine Bubba Gump pint glass that was purchased when we went to Florida. So that gives it a slight interesting twist. But yeah, just Carling at the moment.
All the way from the US of A. And Andy?
Hi, I'm Andy. I'm drinking Trapiche Roquefort 10. It's a nice 11.3%. I've doubled up though. I've got two bottles in there. In a pyrite glass.
Nice.
So I might pass out later on. I don't know yet.
Well, I saw the picture of all the beer that you bought. You shared it on it. It was at Instagram and Facebook and that. How much of that's left?
There's probably about 30%. It's been so warm and sunny. It's just like, let's have a bottle. Like midday. I'll go sit outside, have a bottle, and be like, I could do with one more now. It's going anyway.
No, I thought it might be. I'm amazed there's any left, actually. Well, I'm drinking a Goose Midway Session IPA, which is a good one, but same thing I always find with Session IPAs. It tastes like an IPA that's had a couple of shots of water chucked into it, so it's okay. But bearing in mind that 9 p.m. we're recording this, and I'm up early in the morning, so I didn't want to start on the Pirate or the Duchess.
Less said about the Duchess, the better, I think.
So how have you guys got on then since we last recorded the podcast? Anything interesting?
Obviously, sort of. I'm not sure whether or not it happened when we recorded the NFL, but obviously, sort of for me, golf has sort of kicked in again a bit. So I've started to sort of golf a little bit more now. So sort of at least one of the days of the weekend is taken up with that. We're starting to get a couple more kids back into school as well. So work's getting a little bit busy. Obviously, for those that don't know, I teach in sort of an independent special school. So some of our kids are quite needy. So we've had a couple more coming in, which is good. Nice to see them. Other than that, though, one other thing, I've joined a stay-at-home darts league as well. So fixtures are coming out. So basically, you play over messenger face call and use an app called Knacker, which is you use to score. So that's pretty cool. But
is that steel tip then that you're playing that?
Yeah, steel tip. Yeah,
cool.
And there's a guy locally that organises it, and he's got loads of players. And you basically split into sort of 4 divisions, and the idea is that you play 2 games per week over a sort of 5-6 week period, sort of thing. And then there's promotion and relegation this time, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, fair play.
That's
fair
pretty
play.
awesome.
Yeah. Because I've seen Dark Planet TV, who kindly featured us in their magazine.
Yeah.
They do a couple. I think they're doing a couple of those leagues as well, aren't they?
Yeah. To be fair, if you search for it, ours is stay at home darts, I think it's called. Quite a lot of guys locally from in and around sort of the Stoke area. Quite a lot of the guys that play in the Super League. But there are 1 or 2 that obviously have got acquaintances. I played a guy who's down in Stafford. Played him a couple of nights ago. There's a couple of others sort of dotted around the country and stuff. So, but it's just great. You just see different people play different, people that you wouldn't normally meet up with and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
What's the standard like? Pretty good.
Yeah, decent. Yeah, actually the final is on tonight, and is a guy called, I think, Nick Walton and Johnny Burgess. Johnny obviously is well known locally, has represented county for a number of years, and I think they average sort of mid to low 90s for 3-dot average.
Oh, that's decent.
Which is decent.
It's decent.
Too good for me, I'm afraid. That is, but
yeah, that's way too good for me.
Way too good. But we'll give it a go. But
record holder.
That's my little update.
Well, yeah. Well, we are. Well, we're not world record holders. Thanks for that, Andy, because that record got beaten. We're still waiting for the other one to be confirmed. Actually, I've seen today, funnily enough, Guinness was sharing that their book is all ready to go out there. It's gone to the printing press. Disappointing that we're guaranteed not to be in this one, because obviously the old record being beaten and the new one has been set, but yet to be confirmed thanks to lockdown.
Yeah.
But something to look forward to. Andy, yourself?
No, nothing. No, I think I'll just throw myself in work. Got my van coming along nicely. I'm in the final steps of the cupboards and stuff like that. Other than that, I'm just drinking heavily.
That's what lockdown's for, isn't it? Well, as you guys know, I updated me and the wife both updated our cars this week, and as I said to you guys, you'd message me, hadn't you? Because you live next door, and you.
Yeah.
You spotted typical neighborhood watch stuff.
So new cars, dude.
So as I said, it was fairly straightforward doing Kim's car. My car, we did have it was interesting. So Andy, I think Kim had sent Amy, that's Andy's partner, a picture of the car that I'd let Matilda pick out for me. That was the original plan I was going to pick out, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how yellow was it?
Oh, it's like a guacamole yellow.
Yeah. It was pretty yellow. And anyway, I went home, thought about it, went back the next day, and instead picked a nice black one instead. So we signed for it. Did the traditional Wayne's Wheel thing, like when you're looking over the paperwork. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like what you've done there. Yes, thank you. Checked it all off. Went to pick the cars up on Saturday. On the forecourt, we were there first thing, so we were the first ones in, 9 a.m. Kim's car sat there, ready to be picked up, and the one behind it, well, it was the same make and model as the one I was having, but it wasn't the one that I'd picked out.
Nice.
So I said to the guy, like, where's mine then? He goes, that's it there. It's behind your wife's. I said, well, that isn't it. That's not the one I picked out. He was, it is, because look, here's the paperwork. So yeah, I checked everything on the paperwork except that the guy pulled up the wrong car. It was the same make and model.
Oh,
Different license plate. Didn't have red alloy wheels. Didn't have red interior. The one I picked literally was all black. It was blacker than Andy's soul.
It's not a colour.
So yeah, and obviously, so everything was helpful. And in the end, I just said, "Oh yeah, go on. I'll just keep it. It's fine." Because I quite like the red, to be honest with you. But it wasn't what I.
You kept it. Did you not change it?
No, I couldn't be bothered.
Dude, what are you doing?
I wouldn't have done that. Also,
No.
it's a shame it wasn't a Mustang or something like that.
Well, it was.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll keep it.
Yeah, go on. That's fine. So,
Just the inconvenience, I'll just have that really, really, really mid-American muscle car at the back there. I'll just have that one over there.
Same
it'd be
price.
nice, but I think they would have expected me to pay for it.
That's when you get the world record certificate out and go, no.
That's it, yeah. What I was telling my mum the story, she said, well, you must have realised when you took it for a test drive. It's like, well, no, I couldn't be bothered to take it for a test drive. It's just like all cars. It's got a steering.
It's the same, dude. Just turn them on.
You don't need to test it.
No, not for me. No.
So it wasn't the one I picked out, but I am pretty happy with it.
So what did you get in the end?
It's a Nissan Juke.
Okay.
Yeah, a good hairdresser's car.
Suit you well.
That's your missus' car. What did you get?
He's here all week.
Well, the other one that we were looking at was a Citroen Cactus as well in bright yellow. So I mean, it's slightly more manly than that, but only a pinch until you look at the red alloys. Right then, this week's episode is Staycationing. So, as I said when I announced this one last week, we're going to be looking at a few different places to stay once the lockdown has been lifted in the UK. But we are aware that 3/4 of the people who listen to this podcast don't live in the UK. So we try and keep that in mind in some of the places that we've decided to talk about. But we are going to do some stuff as well. It's for people who are UK based. So I did promise that we'd talk about Stratford upon Avon, and I did promise that we'd talk about York as well, because those are two places, as we've said, we've all visited, and whenever you're there's plenty of American tourists in there, and like 60% of our audience are based in the US. So which one do we want to kick it off with then talking about? Get those two out of the way first.
Okay, Stratford first, shall we? That's yeah.
Have you been to Stratford, Andy?
I think so. It's not very memorable if I have.
Just to qualify.
I've been in a few places around there, but I'm not sure.
15 minutes before we were ready to record this podcast, we got a message from Andy letting us know that he'd got all the information sorted for the one we're doing on movies in 2 weeks.
just really prepared.
I think the prefix UN should sort of sit.
Absolutely.
What's in this class?
No, strong stuff. 11.4. So Stratford, Gaz. Do you want to anything you thought was worth mentioning about this? Because I think you did a lot of the Shakespeare.
Yeah, I mean, we did. I mean, me and Jenny, my wife, we've been a couple of times. We've taken the kids a couple of times. The last time we went, I think it was Abby. She was just studying something in school, and she got it in her head that she wanted to go and sort of go to Stratford and do the sort of Shakespeare sort of tour and all of that, and go to the house and we loved it. We've been, I say, a couple of times. If you're not a massive Shakespeare fan, there's still loads of other stuff to do. There's a lovely river you can walk along. There's lots of other stuff you can do if you're not a Shakespeare fan. But obviously, the main pull really is Shakespeare. There's loads and loads and loads of stuff to do. There's sort of Shakespeare museums. There's the Hathaway House, which is fantastic, by the way. And you get to have a look around, and there's an open air sort of theatre, and there's always sort of shows on, and you're sort of bumbling around, and you're sort of milling around the house, and all of a sudden you get this guy bursting into sort of sonnets from various plays and stuff. It's incredible. Brilliant place. Loads and loads of places to sort of eat. Loads and loads of places to sort of wet your whistle as such. But a whole range of stuff from traditional all the way through to sort of slightly more modern sort of catering. It basically does cater for everybody. It'll cater for your overseas visitors. Loads and loads of guides in multiple languages. The sort of maps you get and stuff. So lots of different sort of language guides in there. Obviously, you've got your headsets that you can listen to as well at certain places, different languages. So spot on. We loved it. The kids loved it. Highly recommend. One thing we did find, if you purchase a ticket, you basically get like a free return within 12 months.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So if you do buy a ticket, you enjoy it that much. Obviously, as long you keep your receipt and keep your ticket stubs, and you can go back within a 12-month period. So that's ideal. That's brilliant. That's really but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't recommend it highly enough. Really, really nice place to go and visit.
When we visited, I think it was it was before JJ was born. So we're talking about, I think maybe not long before he was born, actually. So it was about 18, 20 months ago, I think. And we stayed in a place in the centre of Stratford, which was literally called a Shakespeare. It was a Mercure Hotel, which, if you are mine and Andy size, I will share a picture of it, because the doorway in our room literally came up to my shoulder. Honestly, literally, I was worried about banging the back of my neck on the way out, not the top of my head. It was really, really low. And because we had Matilda with us at the time, we thought, we'll get a suite. That'll be nice. Classic old hotel. And we've got a nice sitting room. Once we put her down at night, we can have a glass of wine, watch a bit of TV, because obviously, what a 2-year-old as she was at the time, you don't get to go out much.
Yeah.
So we got him booked into the suite, and it was a suite, separate rooms, no doorway. So we had to sit just whispering silently to each other, just for fear of waking her up. But yeah, do you know, in all fairness, I've been to Stratford before. We didn't do a lot of the Shakespeare stuff. We didn't do Anne Hathaway's house, and we did go to Shakespeare's birthplace. But we did things like the Butterfly Farm, which, again, like, if you buy tickets for it, you can go back in 12 months' time, and that is pretty good. And actually, we ended up doing it twice. And like I said, it is very Shakespeare orientated, because that is where he was born. The Royal Shakespeare Society is based there, and if you take a boat trip down the River Avon, you see all the rooms in the RSC building, and if they have a play on there, you see the actors and actresses, sometimes famous ones, out on the balcony preparing to go on. If you go down the right time of day, Patrick Stewart's been there doing his famous part of the RSC. Obviously, probably known better as Picard if you're a geek like me and Gaz.
Yeah, full on geek.
Yeah. But I tell you, the best place that I visited there, just to prove that actually I'm a geek, is the Mad Museum. Did you visit that one, Gaz?
No, don't think so. We'd heard of it. I don't think we did it though. I'd be fascinated to know what it was like though.
It was, well, it's ranked as the 6th best one on TripAdvisor. They rank it as 6 out of 87 attractions in Stratford. But it's literally like Rube Goldberg machine. So you set something going and it continues and moves everything around. I really enjoyed it. And Matilda enjoyed it as well. So yeah, they could have done with a bar in it though. There's places like that. I always think. Yeah, well, yeah, that is true. Well, it's something like that. If you do that in the States, normally there's a place where you can have a beer or a cocktail as well. But it wasn't particularly big, but actually I did think that was one of the better ones. And in terms of, like Gaz says, there are loads of decent restaurants to eat. I jotted down a couple that I remember visiting. One for meal, we ate in a place called Al Greco, which you probably won't be too surprised was Greek cuisine, and that one was pretty good. But honestly, the level of food that they feed you now, honestly, we were filled up. And then there's another place that we went for lunch, which was, this is good. You'll like this one, Andy. It's a fish and chip shop, but you can sit in and you have a pint while you're in there. And they had like Belgian beers. Honestly, it was meant.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Dream combination.
It's perfect, isn't it? Fish, chips, beer, done.
What more you ask for?
Exactly. But it was called Fish and Fizz. I'd have called it Fizz and Chips. Is that not a better name?
Fish and Chips is way better.
Yeah, I thought that. I did mention it to the woman. She didn't seem to appreciate it. And the other place that we ate as well, because it was attached to the hotel. So the Shakespeare Hotel, traditional black and white buildings, you see, they're all over, with the thatched roofs and what have you. There's a Marco Pierre White restaurant there, and it's actually attached to the hotel. I have to say, I thought the food was pretty good, and Matilda wolfed it. I can't remember what Kim ordered, but she was underwhelmed.
Okay.
Well, I thought, yeah, pretty decent. So that's Stratford. The other place that we said that we would mention is York. And Andy, I happen to know for a fact you have some experience in York, and you can give us a dog owner's perspective.
Mm-hmm. I've been there quite a few times with the dog, without the dog, stag do's. It's brilliant town. So when you're saying there about Stratford being like a classical town of, all the Shakespearean stuff, the thatched buildings. Obviously York has the Shambles Street, which is all like the narrow. I don't know what area it is. It's like cobbled streets. All the buildings are all wonky. They're all like leaning over the street and stuff. It's brilliant. So if you got a dog, there's a couple of bars there that you can go to. I know where all the bars are. That's it. No, it's such an old like medieval town, a Viking town. There's every corner of the city. There's something to do. Like whether like you want to see like a historical, like the tower. I can't remember what they called it now, but
the dungeons or the.
You got the dungeons there, but you got that massive tower, aren't you? It's on the hill. On the hill.
Clifford's Tower.
Yeah, Clifford's Tower. Yeah. And obviously you can go up there. It's all free and stuff like. You have a look, mooch around it. You can overlook all the city. You got the walls all the way around. The river. Beautiful. Like we go there. We try and go there every year just for a day out and stuff like that. There's always something there, especially in summer. It's brilliant.
That's it. Yeah, because it's about a 2-hour drive, isn't it, from where we are? It's not too bad.
Yeah, we've been a couple of times, and obviously they've got the National Railway Museum there as well. So if you're into
that's right.
If you're into your sort of trains and stuff as well, that and whilst it sounds a little ultra geeky, actually it is pretty cool in there. And so I remember going where I think I must have been at school the first time we went, and it was and you get a slightly different perspective when you go as a school kid and then you go as an adult. And actually, when I went as an adult, thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the other one, obviously, Andy sort of mentioned being in Viking Town, is the Jorvik Museum.
Yeah.
That really is, that's decent, and that is you walk in and literally your senses like a hit. I mean, it stinks like proper stinks. But it does give you a feeling, a sense of obviously what life was like there. And again, we've taken. I think it was just Amy. I don't know whether Abby was born, but we've taken Amy. And she was only dead young. But again, loads and loads of eateries. I think me and Jenny, we ate. There was a Cafe Rouge there, and we ate in there, and it's beautiful. Can't fault it. But again, a lovely place that we've been to a couple of times. Love it. Really enjoyable stay.
Going back to the Jorvik Centre, like I went as a kid, and it was like you walk in there, and there's all like the old they're ruins of like a Viking village or something.
Yeah.
And then you walk around like a thatched. It's all it's like a little village, isn't it? It's all thatched and stuff.
Well, it takes you around now on carts, like motorized carts.
I was going to say we went about 3 years ago, and you sit in this little cart thing, and he's like, you're zipping around. The guy that sat in the toilet's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. He's still doing his best.
I always remember that.
that one was Matilda's favourite. What's he doing? You know what he's doing.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it, yeah. He's slightly quicker than you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to know, like, obviously, because this country has been, invaded, not conquered all the time, but we've had that many different continents coming over here and trying to run towns and stuff like that. Even the Scots tried it once, but for that to be such a dominant Viking city, like throughout the UK, is just incredible. I think, and so much history there. Brilliant.
Well, that's where the name York comes from. It's from Jorvik, which is what the Vikings called it, which is why the Jorvik Centre. But also, I think the Romans. Or was it the Romans spent a lot of time there as well? Didn't they used it as one of their spa towns. But yeah, you're quite right. Jorvik was one of the ones that it was worth doing. Did you guys do the York chocolate story? Have you done that one?
No, didn't do that. No.
That one's decent. We've done it twice. So I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, Kim's 30th birthday, we're booked to go and stay in the Wynn, and then unfortunately she was pregnant. That's disrespectful to my daughter, isn't it? So we ended up going to York instead, and we stayed in the hotel. It was Principal Hotel, which is right next to the railway station, because we thought best make it special. That was a nice one there. And we did the York chocolate story there. And when we were there was the most obnoxious child in the world. And he actually got kicked off the tour. He was being that much of a pain in the ass. Honestly,
Would he be kicked off the Willy Wonka tour?
Well, honestly, yeah, he was like that. He was like that kid off there. He was an absolute nightmare. And literally, there's a room full of adults seeing this kid get frog marched out of it. And it's like, yeah, like obviously, everybody else, oh, shocking, it's terrible. I found it hilarious, obviously. But then we were queuing up to take Matilda in there, and that memory hit me. It's like, oh God, no, please don't do that. Don't get kicked out of it. Because a bit of chocolate in there, she could be a nightmare. But thankfully she behaved herself. But yeah, the Shambles, again, like you say, well worth a visit. Some classical shops there. But Gaz, your kids would love the Harry Potter magic shop there, no doubt.
Yeah, they like I say, I mean, Amy in particular loves, she's my eldest, so she loves pretty much everything Harry Potter. And they'll watch the films like all the time. So yeah, they'd love that, and that's something that, you know, if we do go, we would definitely go and have a look at that. Whether or not it compares quite to obviously the one in Florida and stuff where they got like wands and stuff, and in Diagon Alley, not so sure, but you know what, it'd still be worth the visit.
Probably not. Did you guys? This is my favourite bar in York. I know Andy, you'll have visited a few, but I don't know if this one had been on your list. Have you visited the Stone Roses bar there?
Funnily enough, no. But I know where it is because for whatever reason, I always end up drinking near it, but not go to that one. I don't know whether it's because of the time of day. I normally drink along like the river, and then that's just offset from it.
It is, yeah.
I normally walk past it. Oh, there's that bar. Oh, I'm going to go to this place now and get some food. That always happens. So I never.
Well worth a visit that place, especially if you like. It's not just Stone Roses that they play there. They play Happy Mondays and Spiral Carpets, all the good old stuff. Well worth a visit if you're an old git like me.
The good old Manchester bands.
Yeah, the old Manchester bands. It's strange that we're there in Yorkshire. Which,
yeah,
Manchester being sort of Lancashire way, and then I don't think those two get on too well. But honestly, well worth a visit. Decent beer on in there. They had Brewdog on when I was in there last, because we went last September actually. It seems long ago actually because of lockdown. But we stayed in an apartment the last time, which is just up from Clifford's Tower. There are a lot of those buildings on the road up there are apartments, and that's a really good and reasonable way of doing York if you're doing a few people, because we went for mother-in-law's birthday. We took her there, and both sister-in-laws came along, and Neil joined us. He's a big Stone Roses fan, so we went and checked out that place. And we spotted it actually where we were doing a boat ride on the river, which is well worth a visit. Any decent places that you'd recommend to eat then? Any places you can remember?
Not specifically. I mean, obviously, it's a chain, but I just remember it's the first time that we'd eat. Well, I'd eaten it in a Cafe Rouge, and I just remember because me and Jen had gone. We'd gone before BC, before children, and I just remember that. You know, it was lovely, you know, really lovely experience. I had some nice beer and a couple of drinks and went and had a fantastic meal. But I always think you do get decent meals in Cafe Rouge, so never really had a bad one. And so don't really remember anything else in terms of sort of specifics, just coming away thinking, actually, you know what, the whole experience, we were there for a weekend, was excellent. Really, you know, couldn't really fault it. We were quite lucky with weather and stuff, so we were pootling around, and it was quite warm and stuff. So really, you know, lovely weekend. Definitely place to visit. Did either of you guys eat in the place where they serve a full Sunday dinner wrapped in like a Yorkshire pudding? So, you know, like if you're from around where we are, Stoke, you traditionally you'll have oatcakes, which is bacon and cheese and stuff wrapped inside oatcake. Well, they do a huge Yorkshire pudding with your full Sunday dinner inside, just eating and rolling. You can just eat it straight out. No. I mean, obviously, no. I know of lots of places where you'll get your traditional sort of Sunday lunch in a giant Yorkshire pudding, and it's sort of served on a plate, and the Yorkshire pudding effectively keeps all the gravy in.
Yeah, but no, this is rolled. It's
literally no, didn't eat in there. No,
I know one in place in Manchester that does that, and yeah, it's well nice. It's not far from St Anne's Square. Yeah, it's weird, but it's good. Like, just Yorkshire puddings are amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just gives you that extra flavour, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you are from outside of the UK and you don't know what's in a Yorkshire pudding, well, neither do I. Actually, I think it's just batter and it done in oil in the oven. Yeah,
oil and batter, and then basically they start quite small and then they expand a little bit and stuff.
It's awesome.
But you've always got to make sure you have a little bit of gravy actually in the Yorkshire. You've got to tip a little bit in the Yorkshire. It's just got to be done.
Just going back to Cafe Rouge, I just need. Did you have a croque monsieur?
Yeah. And then I think Jen, they did. I think they did like it's like a beef bourguignon in Cafe Rouge. Well, and so she had I think it was a beef bourguignon, which was fantastic. But yeah, the croque monsieurs are fantastic, beautiful.
Yeah, for breakfast, croque monsieur or croque madame. A left, no matter what time of the day it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Perfect breakfast beer life. So what's the difference between a monsieur and a madame? Is a madame got the egg on top? Is that the right one?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
I'm more of a madame.
Yeah. To be fair, either because they're both pretty good. So wouldn't be that fussy. We ate. Was one of the NFL visits we went in there. We ate in there, didn't we?
We needed at that point to soak up some of the booze because we'd just been in.
Was a couple of years ago, maybe I think. No.
We'd been in that place. Oh, what was that wine bar you took us to in London, Andy? But we had a really nice bottle of red in there, didn't we? Which was wasted on us.
Gordon's Wine Bar.
Gordon's Wine Bar. That's the one. Yeah.
No, I remember that. Yeah. No, it was good. That place was.
It was a nice. Really that was a nice bottle of red, wasn't it? But.
The oldest wine bar in London, like 15th century or something like that.
Yeah, and it was busy as well, really busy.
It's like Ribena, that wine. It's just like so nice.
It was gorgeous. I remember that. I don't remember a vast amount of that trip, but I remember that place.
Yeah. There's portions I remember. Just a couple other places I wanted to mention to eat in York then. There's an Italian place called Wildwood. Have you guys ever eaten? I think they're a chain, actually. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one.
No, I've been there, no.
But if you download the app first and it's a weeknight, you get like 35% off the meal or something, and like buy one, get one free cocktails, and it makes it really cheap. And the food is pretty good. Just doing my this is going back to my notes are from when I was going to do this as being just stuff, so they're actually quite factual. The York card. Did either you guys pick up a York card while you're there?
No, didn't know.
65 quid for an adult and 40 quid, I think, for seniors and 65 quid for a multi-day, 45 quid for one day, and that gets you entrance into 50 different attractions. So like the York Minster, the dungeons, Jorvik Viking Centre. You can visit all of those in that money, so it's well worth doing. And in that, you also get a free pasta and pizza meal in the restaurant that's next door to the help centre. And I didn't eat there. Kim ate there with her mum and that, and they said the food was absolutely fabulous. The reason why I didn't eat there is because I was queuing to meet Kim Joy at the time.
Really?
Yeah, when we were there, I thought, Kim Joy. Do you know who Kim Joy is, Andy?
No, I just thought you were playing on Kim.
No. Yeah. If you watch the Great British Bake Off, which I have to,
I don't do that.
No, yeah, Kim insisted. She was one of the contestants on there, and she had just released her cookbook. So I thought, while I was there, I might go there, meet her, and get it signed. Because I like cooking, but I've never had a go at baking. And I had a look in there. There's nothing in there that I'm capable of. Honestly, it is really complicated stuff. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much everywhere. Oh no, perhaps the Castle Museum. Did either of you guys visit there? It's just next to Clifford's Tower.
Vaguely, I couldn't sort of recall sort of much about it, but it sort of rings a sort of just a vague sort of memory as such. Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't sort of mention it, talk about any specific really.
I can tell you the Lost and Found department is excellent. Matilda,
you haven't lost a kid, have you?
No, I tried, but they wouldn't. Matilda went dressed as Little Red Riding Hood and left a basket there. And Kim emailed them about a week later because we thought that's probably the only place it could have been, and they posted it out to us.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah, that one. And just one last thing though, while we're on York, and this is a shameless plug because my cousin owns a guest house in York, so I said I'd give it a mention. If you are planning on staying there, it's really nice. It's called the Jorvik Wall Cottage. You can email them at inquiries@jorvikcottages.co.uk. Well worth a visit. I think sleeps about 3. Don't bother mentioning my name. You won't get it cheap. I asked if I could have it cheap, and she said no. So
yes, double the price.
yeah, double the price. Yeah, she knew it. She heard about the London trips. So that's Stratford, that's York covered off. Anywhere else that you guys think that's worth a mention if you're going to be staycationing?
Very quickly on York, actually, it's the York Minster. We didn't really mention much about that.
Very true.
Obviously, you got Shambles Street. You can just sort of do a loop where you walk along there. You swing a left. You end up near the York Minster. And it's a great place, isn't it? It's like one of the biggest cathedrals in the UK. And there's all bars around it as well.
There is.
I knew there was an ulterior motive.
You've got the Dick Turpin pub right opposite. Did you go in that one? That's one of the oldest pubs in York, I think.
I think You know, it gets hazy once you start drinking, even before you get to a pub. But no, it's like where it's situated. Though it's obviously right in the city centre, but it's just such a monumental building. But I think it's worth a quick mention. Throw it in at the end.
Oh well, yeah, probably worth mentioning, wasn't it? But yeah, if you go for walks along the city walls, like the old Roman walls that are around York, you can pretty much see that building from everywhere, and it does make for a fantastic photograph. Certainly at certain times of the day when the sun's setting behind it, looks absolutely fabulous.
You can go up in the towers as well. I think like 200. I can't remember how many steps it is. 200 odd steps as well, isn't it? So all the way up to the top.
Right.
Quite a lot. Yeah. I only did it as a kid. I wouldn't do it as an adult. Too drunk.
Yeah, I don't think they'll let you up that drunk, to be honest. Alcohol and steps don't mix.
Brilliant. No, I mean, talking about, a couple of other places, not necessarily York, but, you know, there's the obvious, you go to London and the sights and sounds of London and stuff, which, you know, you could do a whole different episode on, really. But sort of away from sort of the major cities, a couple of places we love going down to Cornwall, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, but there's some of the places down there are phenomenal, fantastic places. If you know you pick up a couple of those beaches and you go and drop them in the south of France, and they wouldn't be out of place. Do you know what I mean? They're absolutely stunning. A couple of places that we've been to. I mean, St Ives is lovely. We stayed, one of the times we went, it was actually a little sort of apartment in a place called Cornwall Bay, which was lovely. It was about a couple of miles outside of St Ives, and fantastic sort of walk you can do into St Ives. There was I think the Cornwall Bay Hotel, which is a lovely hotel, and they have like a beachside sort of bar, so the kids were just playing on the beach, and me and Jen sat and we had some beer and cocktail and stuff. So I'd highly recommend sort of Cornwall Bay area, sort of St Ives area. The other place really, which I suppose lots of people don't sort of realise, is actually the northern sort of side of Cornwall. So if you go up to places like Tintagel and Boscastle, which is a couple of places that we've been to a couple of times. Tintagel obviously steeped in Arthurian legend, you know, Merlin's cave and stuff, and I mean that's an English heritage, and you have to pay to walk down and see certain bits of it, but it's absolutely stunning. Take your cameras. You know, if you are visiting from overseas, it literally is the quintessential sort of UK coastline. It is stunning, and on a nice day the sun just sets it off fantastic. You walk down to the beach, and as you walk down from memory down the steps, you look to your right and the sort of Merlin's cave literally is there, and there's loads of stuff to do, the Arthurian legend and all of that sort of stuff, so that's well worth a visit. And then the other place really that isn't that too far away, which sort of became famous for all the wrong reasons really, was a place called Boscastle, which I don't know whether you guys remember, which it was a little town that flooded basically in 2004. And there was some summer rain, and it basically is in the sort of bottom of a valley. And what happened is it basically flooded, and the whole town was just washed away. And there was pictures on the news of people getting winched away and stuff. And we've been sort of post the floods, and the restoration is phenomenal. And you can literally walk down, you can go over the bridge, and what's quite haunting is they obviously have a little museum to the sort of the flood, and literally you walk in and there's a watermark where the water came up to, and it's like way above my head, and you're just thinking, Christ, if you were there at that time. And the restoration work they've done is, as I say, it is phenomenal. But it's beautiful. You walk down and there's like a little quay area. You got this little bay. So that place is stunning. Well worth a visit there. And I could go on and on really about Cornwall. We love it. I think it's somewhere that if years down the line, once our kids have sort of flown the nest, families of their own, that would be somewhere we would consider sort of relocating. Jen loves the beach and stuff, walking along the beach at night and stuff. So. And pretty much every chance we get, we'll go down there. If stunning sort of rocky outcrops. You can obviously do the coastal walk, just brilliant. Yeah, for you and obviously Andy, you and Amy, with dogs, it'd be brilliant. Literally like the coastal path, the coastal walk is. It literally like you walk there, you think, God, that can't get any better, and then you go around another little rocky outcrop, and it's like, bloody hell, that's even better, sort of thing. It's just stunning place, absolutely stunning place.
The same sentiment. So like Wollacombe and Invercombe, like the north sort of side, it's I think because there's no major roads in Cornwall, I think that's what makes it better, because it's harder for people to get into them, and it's all like A roads, back roads, and stuff like that. So, and that's why a lot of it's untouched. Like you say, it's like another country, and you got turquoise water, clear sands and clear sea.
And literally, it's like you
Cornish-sider.
You can be driving now, then you sort of turn off, I say, the main road, just like an A road or a B road, and there's so many sort of, I suppose, undiscovered beaches and undiscovered coves, and literally you can just park up, and in 5 minutes you walk sort of around this little rocky outcrop, and there's like a little beach, and it might only be 30, 40 meters sort of long, and there's like nobody else on there, and you're like, I've got my own private beach here.
And there'll be a shipwreck there somewhere as well.
There are my hearties, but it's absolutely, but it's stunning. So we love it. We love going down there. And then just one other place I was going to mention, which actually is in Wales. It's on the Pembrokeshire coast. And it is another beach, and it's called Barifundle Bay. And I don't know whether or not either of you two have been there. I would probably say it's one of my favourite beaches that I've been to, and I've been to Cancun Beach in Mexico. I've been to Bondi Beach and stuff. Barifundle Bay is just stunning. It's not massive, and you can park in a National Trust car park. A place called, I think it's Stackpole Quay, which is the sort of reference if you're a National Trust member. And there's a cafe there, and you can get your traditional sort of cream teas, and you sort of walk across. You go through a bit of a forest, you walk across some sort of fields or some hills, and then you come to this stile, and then basically you look over the stile, and you've got this lovely sort of crescent-shaped beach, and it literally words like you stand there and you're like, it is just stunning. And we were so lucky. We were there, and I'm not even joking. There were two other people on the beach. And we spent the whole afternoon there, and our kids were loving it. They were running around, playing and stuff, and it was just one of the best days. So if you get a chance, Barifundle Bay. A couple of years ago, I think it was ranked in like the top 25 beaches in the world, and that was just let me check my notes. I think that was sort of Passport magazine, and they ranked it in the top 25 beaches in the world, and that was sort of 2017-18. So again, if you're coming from overseas and you wanted somewhere to go and somewhere to look at, it's not massive, it's not a huge beach, but it's like a little hidden gem. And if you get to go there, it's stunning, absolutely stunning.
I think we did it in 17 or 18, and we parked not far from there. There's like a lily pond like stretch where it's like a little bit of a lake. It's full of lily ponds. Yeah. And you walk over like all this like wooden decking, like little bridges and stuff over there. And you do like a loop through a field, get to that beach, and then one side's got like you can only walk to the beach, can't you? It's all like little paths either end. Yeah. So we walked along the beach, had some food there, walked up the other side, there's all like little ruins and like little walls and stuff in there, I think.
Yes,
where
there
they
is.
got, like,
So as you get to the far side, as you go across the beach on the far side, so then
yeah, so that's where the plaque is in it with a Barifundle Bay it's called. And then we carried on walking around. There's a cafe about a mile away, I think. And then back round, so things. We did like a big loop that day, yeah. But when you said the name, I was like, I don't really recall that. But I just had a quick look on the maps. I was like, oh yeah, did that a few years back. It's really nice.
It's everything you just said. It's stunning. It's absolutely brilliant.
I think
and
the
we go
fact that you
back.
have to walk there, it makes it better because
Yeah.
when people drive there, you'll get thousands of people driving there, taking all the rubbish, or now you're explicit, crap. They'll take everything out there, won't they? Whereas because you have to walk there, people take less stuff. And it's nice.
I can't remember how far away it is from the car park. I mean, obviously, if you're National Trust members, I think the car park's free, which a lot of National Trust car parks are. But from the car park, I mean, it's not. The beach isn't right there. It is a walk. But as I say, the walk is part of the. I say part of the journey, part of the joy. It changes sort of landscapes. You do go through a bit of a forest and across some hills and stuff, and it's stunning. And we sort of just came across it by chance, really. Being National Trust members, it was one of the places we were in Pembrokeshire. We were like, where can we go? And we sort of saw it, and we're so glad now because it's one of those places we would quite happily go back to. It was brilliant, lovely, absolutely stunning.
We did the loop we did was like along like a cliff edge as well, just before that.
Yeah.
Oh, just before I think it was. So it's like 8 mile walk we did, but it's beautiful. We stayed in Tenby, like.
Okay,
Which is like a little Spanish village sort of thing.
Dimbiki Piscod. That is Welsh for Tenby. I've been to Pembrokeshire, but I've only ever been to Tenby and Saundersfoot. I love Tenby. I think it's great, and you can take the boat there to what's the island? Oh, it's gonna bug me. There's an island anyway. There's a load of monks living on it. That's
Monk Island.
Monk Island. No, Col. I think it's Caldy Island. I think it's Caldy Island.
Is it Calder?
Caldy, I think. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And that's well worth a visit as well. But
Caldy Island.
Yeah. There you go. I'd see Andy and his modern phone again, showing off. He knows how to Google. Me and Gaz are too lazy for that.
So and it's similar, really. My experience, sort of the eastern coast, and this is going to sound slightly weird because a couple of my golfing friends live down in Norfolk, which is obviously sort of eastern coast. And it was somewhere that I never really thought about going to go and play golf. And by the way, if you are listening from abroad, particularly sort of Americans and stuff, and you do like your golf, where I'm about to tell you now is almost second to none. And there's a place called Hunstanton, which is, if you think where sort of Norfolk is, sort of basically just south of the Wash, on the sort of the northern tip of the bit that sort of arcs around Norfolk, sort of Ipswich, Norwich way. Hunstanton and Cromer and Sheringham, all across the top of Sir Norfolk. Again, absolutely picturesque. It's somewhere that really you probably wouldn't think to go. If you are a golfer, and it's a bit of a shameless plug, I've got a mate who works at Hunstanton Golf Course, which is massively, I suppose, underrated, and actually potentially could hold an open if the infrastructure was a little bit better. There's no real airports and main roads in Norfolk and stuff, so getting there would be difficult, but the course itself is phenomenal. So you've got Hunstanton, which is brilliant, Cromer, Sheringham, just phenomenal places again for walking, for your coastal path. Well worth a visit for a weekend if you are thinking. I mean, it's a bit out of the way, because Norfolk's not the easiest place to get to. It's not somewhere that you go to for a day. I mean, it takes me sort of 4 hours, maybe sort of 4.5 hours to get to Norfolk. Yeah. It is a bit of a trek. But if you are going for sort of long weekend or whatever, then well worth it. A place where Hunstanton is beautiful. Loads and loads of little quaint sort of B&Bs as well. You can stop in. It's a lovely, typically traditional little English sort of village hamlet type place. But at the end of it, I've got this phenomenal golf course. So that rates quite highly for me because the place is stunning.
Just to pull you back then to something you said earlier as well, guys, which I think is also worth a mention. And I know that I don't know if you've still got one now, but you've had a National Trust card in the past. I mean, I know Andy has as well, because I know we've done some National Trust stuff together. So what's the best National Trust place then that you guys have visited? Because I always think that, especially if you're visiting from outside the UK as well, just to see some traditional British history, these places are fantastic for it. And there's quite a few local to us, isn't there?
I mean, to me, well, Andy as well, really. But so you've got places like Delamere, you've got Dunham, you've got Tatton. I think they're all sort of National Trust. What the best National Trust? There's so many.
Tough one, yeah.
I rate Lyme Park fairly highly, only because it's like a few minutes away from my house. But they did an episode of Red Dwarf there, so that's
right?
bumped up.
We went to Lyme Park recently. We had a lovely meal. Where was that? Where's that pub you told me to stop at? Did I text you? Where was that place?
The Ram's Head. In Dinsley, so it's just outside it. You take a right, and it's just along there. Yeah, Ram's Head it'll be.
Yeah, I think you come out right, and then so me and Jen went again, and it was lovely. But look, I couldn't. You know what? I couldn't even name one place that is like the best National Trust. I mean, the things with the National Trust is you've got some areas of natural outstanding beauty. You've got mansions. You've got castles. You've got a host of different types of experiences, so it's difficult just to put them into one and say that one is the best. So I mean, we're quite lucky where we are. Like I said, we've got a few on our doorstep, and we will go to Delamere loads. It's half an hour away.
Biddulph Grange is quite good as well, isn't it? Biddulph Grange.
Yeah, like I said, we've got Biddulph Grange near us. If you go like a little bit further south, you've got sort of parts of Cannock, I think, is sort of National Trust. Sort of Cannock Chase is National Trust as well. So, so many. I couldn't honestly couldn't. The good thing with National Trust though, the membership is you actually get to go in the houses and in all of the sort of. So it's not just the parks. You can get access to the houses. Is Style Mill is that National Trust?
Yeah,
I think Style Mill,
and
that's it. I think that I don't know if it still is a working mill, but certainly the history of the museum and stuff. You can go in there and see the house and stuff, the cotton mill, and that's a lovely place.
Decent pub near there as well, wasn't there, that we found?
Yeah,
it's probably now it's pub near most places that Andy finds. That's probably the first criteria he looks for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a requirement. But I do recommend this place. I think it was like Susan James, maybe. Did we eat there first, then go Style Mill? I can't remember, but Style Mill. I did that at school. It was brilliant. Like seeing the old mill and stuff like that.
It's just too many though. The national. I mean, I think for family membership, it's like, is it £10 a month? I think, or something like that. So it might not even be that. And and I say, and the good thing about it is, if you're not necessarily going somewhere to look at National Trust places, a lot of their car parks are free if you've got your membership. So, you can be going elsewhere and you just look on your map, think, right, where's the nearest National Trust car park? Right, well, we'll just stop there. So that helps.
You'll see you like once or twice a month and you've made money.
Yeah.
But it's like most things, if you're going to get, we're quite lucky. Our girls, when they're a bit younger, they quite enjoyed going out and sort of walking and stuff. So we were quite lucky, and we would go out quite regularly to Delamere or Dunham or Tatton, the ones close by. But if you enjoy your walking and you enjoy your sort of coastal paths and stuff, go and join National Trust. It's brilliant.
Well, the other one I wanted to chuck in there as well in terms of passes is it just this year or did you know it was last year you got it, wasn't it? The Merlin Pass as well.
Yeah. Merlin Pass. Well, God, how much use did we get out of the Merlin Pass? I mean, the Merlin Pass is a company that own lots of theme parks, and for a Merlin Pass, I think we got it on discount. It's like £500, I think, for a family of 4 for a year, which sounds pricey, but when you consider what you get in it, it's absolute peanuts. So you get Alton Towers, you get Thorpe Park, you get Chessington, you get all of your Sea Life centres, you get all your Madame Tussauds, you get all your dungeons, your London dungeons, your York dungeons, all of that's in. The London Eye is in. Shrek World, I think Shrek Land in London, I think is in. Warwick Castle, it is in. I think all your Legoland resorts are in, so Legoland Windsor is in there. And when you think that Alton Towers, I think for a family of 4 now is best part, what, 200 quid for a day?
I think last time I went, it was nearly 60 quid for an adult.
Yeah, it's like 60 quid. It's like, 60, 65 quid for an adult, and then it's like 40, 50 quid each for your kids. We literally, Abby, my youngest, she's like, can we go on Towers? Can we go on Towers? It's like, yeah, crack on. And you get a couple of visitor passes, so you can like chuck a couple to a mate who I think they get them for like 15 quid or something. But when we go down to London, we basically book in a Premier Inn or a sort of, I say budget inn, and we basically just do Merlin Pass stuff. We'll do the dungeons, we'll do the London Eye. Yeah, you do your typical sort of walk around, see your sights. We'll do Thorpe Park because we're sort of pretty much adrenaline junkies, so love theme parks and stuff. But again, probably not something that you would do maybe every year, because obviously the theme parks and the attractions don't change that much year on year. But if you're going to do maybe every other year, every third year, well worth investing in that. And there's different packages. So one of them you get literally everything included, and you can go at any time of the year. That's something I would mention actually. Just be careful if you are thinking of buying them, just because sometimes there are restrictions. So like your slightly lower band, you might not get school holidays, you might not get bank holidays, that sort of stuff. So it might be worth just double checking. But I think we had the premium one, I think it was called, and that was go whenever you want, and you get some of your parking included as well. So Alton Towers, you get your parking included and that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll always look for offers like that. Your National Trust and your Merlin passes. But both of them absolutely well worth it. Well worth it.
Before you book your Premier Inn, though, I think Andy can save you some money. He knows a hotel down there that's a bit cheaper.
Yeah, as long as Andy doesn't start off a sort of new company or a website, AndysHotels.com, you just steer clear of them.
It's cheaper in cash.
Yeah, but when you sleep, you've got to make sure that everything's strapped to you. That's
There's another place as well, which I think is worth mentioning if you are in the UK or if you're coming from outside of the UK, and that's the Lake District. Well worth a mention.
Yeah, beautiful. But one of my memories of the Lake District was waking up. We'd gone to do some biking. There were sort of, was it 3 of us, 4 of us? I think we got up to.
Is that when you went with my brother?
Yeah, that stories. And so we went up, and bless him, we made.
There's always stories involved when my brothers are there.
So I think there was the 3 of us, 4 of us, and just getting. So we decided on what we'll do is we'll go up to the lakes. We'll bike around. We'll a couple of days biking around the lakes. So we strapped on the bikes onto the back of I think I had a Clio at the time. Tiny little Clio. There's like lads jumped in there like backpacks and bikes and stuff. But we got there. And we dropped the car at a pub, which is fantastic, and they do this a lot. Drop your car at a pub, and basically you pay a bit of a retainer to allow you to keep it in their sort of car park for a long weekend or whatever. And we just went out biking. And one of my favourite memories actually to this day is we decided to have breakfast, and Adam's younger brother Mark, he decided he was going to be head chef and stuff. He was into his army stuff back in them days and stuff, and he got his little jerry cans and stuff, and he was in. And we were at the southern tip of Ullswater, and we were on a little beach, and I just remember we'd sort of woken up early, and the sun started to sort of rise just above the sort of Ullswater, and you know what? Nothing could spoil that moment. We were there, a couple of mates. We got bacon and sausage and beans in like a little jerry can. We basically just ate it, just looking out over the sun rising above Ullswater. Stunning, like brilliant memory for me. That was absolutely stunning. And there's so many places you can go to. Air Force, which is a National Trust place. I think that might be near Ullswater as well. That's a big waterfall place.
We did that one actually. Kim and I went. I think might have been last year. Actually, started last year or tail end of the year before, and we stayed in Lakeside Hotel. And if you know, it literally, funnily enough, is right by the side of the lake. Fantastic place.
Yeah,
right opposite the world's worst aquarium. It was
Okay, don't remember going into that one, but
wise decision. It was literally if the hotel.
So the goldfish swimming around it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that good. If you think about Andy's hotel choice, that is an aquarium.
Okay.
A 9 out of 10. What?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, it was rubbish. It's the only place within walking distance of the hotel as well. So we thought, oh, Matilda will love this. It's like, no, it's disgusting. We left after a short spell. But yeah, really, the hotel itself is lovely. It's a spa hotel. But I remember staying there. That was really decent. They had a guy playing piano, playing jazz music. Decent.
The thing that sometimes I find with the lakes, though, is that you've obviously got Windermere, where and there's massive visitor centres there, and you do get it's obviously busy, and you do that's the Windermere is the main attraction, I suppose. But you know what? If you are going to go to the lakes, perhaps stay a little bit further afield and just go to some of the slightly lesser well-known. I mean, we did Ullswater, which is still quite well known. I think it's Derwentwater. I think it.
Sorry, which is the one that Donald Campbell attempted the
I think it's Windermere.
Record? No, I don't. I think it was one of the smaller ones. It might be one for Andy to Google there.
That's the one for Andy to Google.
Yeah,
he'll do that now while we're talking.
Next podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. But Donald Campbell attempted the world record, didn't he? And it's fair to say not successful because they never recovered him.
Bluebird, was that what he? Oh, I can't remember. Was that something else?
Oh, yeah, that might be a car.
But yeah, no, he crashed, didn't he, or whatever it was? Or initially he did, I think.
Yeah, he did. They never found his body, I don't think.
No, but I think if you are going to go, don't get me wrong, Windermere's great, and it is busier, and you can take your boat out onto, have a boat trip to, is it Bowness or Bowness, depending on how you say it. Yeah. So, and that's great. And if you've got some kids, it's great for them to go on the boat and stuff. But there's so much more to the lakes than just Windermere and even Ullswater, really. Go out and see some of the slightly smaller ones, because the walks around there, again, I go harp on about walking and stuff, just like stunning. You literally, and I know people harp about Scotland and Ireland and stuff, but parts of the lakes are just, you get it the right time of day with the right light, there's just nothing better than it. It's stunning. And with it being so big and so open, you can find places where actually there's just you. Do you know what I mean? Windermere obviously is packed, but you go slightly further afield and it literally could just be you walking along, and literally it's just like millionaires walking. There's just nobody else around. It's brilliant, stunning. So yeah, if you're coming particularly from America, the lakes is absolutely, you have to go there. It's stunning.
And again, I have a place to plug of a place to stay. Some friends of mine own a guest house up there, which is in Windermere, which Gaz has just been telling you how busy it is and to avoid.
Still beautiful, still lovely, still absolutely well worth a visit, and I'm sure this place is fantastic.
But do you guys ever watch Come Down With Me?
Occasionally, not one of my favourites. I think Jenny will watch it, but not one of my favourites. But I have seen it.
Have you ever watched Couples Come Down With Me?
Can't say I have. No.
I don't know why it's not called Come Down With Us. That would make more sense.
That would make more sense, yeah.
But you're obviously familiar with Eddie the Beast Hall, the local strongman, yeah?
Yep.
Or one time world's strongest man.
Yeah.
Did you know he appeared on Come Down With Me?
You know what? I think I probably did, but I can't recall knowing what episode he was, what he cooked, or where he went.
The episode that he appeared on was with two guys on there called Rich and Rob, and I used to work with Rich, and they won it. So you're gonna get a decent quality of meal while you're there. And he's always sharing pictures on Facebook and Instagram of his food. But yeah, I wanted to give them a shout out. So it's the Glen Wynn Guest House, which is GLENWYNNE at btinternet.com. Well worth looking at.
Yeah.
Seem to have lost Andy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably gone for another Pirate or something. I don't know. Or change. But no, like I said, I mean, the only other place really, in terms of where we've been and we've had a really, really nice day, was a place called Cheddar Gorge, which is again, natural caves, stalagmites, stalactites, real big cave complex. You can pop over to Longleat as well. That's not too far away. and we've been a couple of times, and again never been disappointed. And again, for your foreign visitor, loads and loads of foreign language sort of audios and visuals. Great place to take families just to go and explore the caves and that sort of stuff. And again, if you haven't been to the UK and you are thinking, you know what, if you want to get away from your city, sort of let's go and do London, let's go and do sort of Dublin or Edinburgh. If you want to do getaway, Cheddar Gorge is beautiful. And again, go spend a long weekend and go and enjoy sort of the attractions and stuff they've got there. And our kids loved it. They walk around with little headphones on, and there's various interactive stuff that you can point at, and the sound comes on at various times and stuff. So yeah, that's another place that's pretty decent. So he's back.
He's back.
Like I wasn't gone.
Yeah.
Cheddar Gorge, yeah.
So I think we've covered off pretty much. I'm sort of conscious around about the hour mark now. So before we sign off, then, like we said, you guys are going to do as many of these podcasts with me as you can, which I'm pretty pumped about, to be honest. Because, like I say, I really, not just because, as we discussed at the start of this episode, I can't remember if we were recording or not, the episode that we recorded about the NFL actually is my most popular episode that we released, and in just 9 days, it received more than the previous one had received in 3 or 4 months, which is pretty exciting for me. But not just because of that. I enjoyed it. I think we have a good laugh, and it's nice to have a beer, and especially when we're in lockdown and we're not seeing too many people.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's nice just to have a chat and share that. So, are there any episodes that you guys want to talk about then? Any topics that you guys want to cover off? I've got a few in mind.
Obviously the movie one is upcoming.
We know Andy's prepared.
And yeah, absolutely. You perhaps thought about one. Maybe you could do. It's a bit difficult for Andy because Andy doesn't live in the same place as us. But you could do some sort of local history or something to do with where you live. I did think about school days and perhaps your stories of school and growing up or going through school, good and bad. Because obviously everybody's got favourite stories about their time at school. And when I say school, we could perhaps extend it to college, me and Ad, because there's a couple of stories from college that I'm sure would sound good on a podcast. A lot of the time us making idiots of ourselves. So that was one thing that maybe we could do, sort of school days. You can do your typical reviews, whether film or music or whatever, TV. You could do that.
I've got a year's worth of content on beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, beer, yeah. Beer you could do.
That's just in your cupboard at the minute.
I
think what we should do for the beer one is we just press record and then just let Andy go. Just let him go.
We are planning to do a beer one where everybody brings a couple of beers, and that's one we're going to do when we're sat around the table together. Finally, and that's the one I'm looking forward to do most. We get some different beers, get the Duchess, get a Wicked Blue for Gaz, so it doesn't feel like it's.
You've got to get me a drink before that, because the Wicked Blue's the chaser. You've got to get us something else.
Oh yeah, you Duchess followed by a Wicked Blue chaser. You've got
to imagine.
But I'm really looking forward to doing that one. We set up a video, record that, because obviously this is a lot easier to record because it's the way we do it. I'd like to do one on the unexplained. It's something. Does that interest you at all, Andy? The unexplained?
Yeah, I don't believe in ghosts and that stuff, but there's always like the odd story, like, oh, how did that happen? People say science to explain it, or whatever. But
you know me, don't you? Obviously, we've had a bit of a sort of thing for. Sort of the weird and wonderful for pretty much since I've known you, really, haven't we? And we've sort of almost been a bit intrigued by it, and whether it's your ghost stories as such, or something like the Money Pit, or something like that. Just perhaps the unexplained and the weird and wonderful. That'd be
yeah.
I'd be up for that. I could do. Yeah, we could do something like that.
And definitely quite a few on beer as well. But I think there's plenty of scope now that there's more people talking. And next week we are planning on recording one, I think, on online gaming, which is something I know absolutely nothing about. Guys, if you are free, if you can join us, that'd be great.
Yeah, if I can, I'll join you. But as I say, I'm not sure what's going on. But certainly in a couple of weeks, I'll be back for the film one. If I'm not there next week, I'll try my best. But as I say, I'm not sure what's going on yet. So
and hopefully we've got my buddy Ken joining us for that one as well, because he's a keen online gamer. Andy, I know you play online games. Me, not something I'm familiar with. But then the week after that, we're going to do movies, and after that, then we'll take it from there and see who it goes and see who's free. So let's call that a day for this week. Great to see you guys, and I'll let you guys say your farewells first.
Yeah, see you guys. As I say, if I don't see you next week, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, where hopefully I'll be sharing my my love for certain films.
Cool.
See you soon.
Andy?
Bye.
See you later. So until next time, when no doubt we'll have plenty more stuff to talk about. Take care.